Hey guys, welcome to All Time Gaming. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jamie, and Alex is still missing.
Yeah, but we did receive this recording from the kidnappers.
Guys, stop messing around. These guys aren't playing. They're gonna chop off little Jonesy.
Ah, poor Jonesy. Seems like we're having trouble finishing up this whole kidnapping business.
And speaking of us not finishing anything, here are 6 games we've just not been able to finish.
Oh man, our segues are getting worse and worse.
Yeah, we probably should stop using Jonesy's kidnapping and potential death as the introduction to every single one of our videos.
Alright Jamie, as we have said several times before, collectibles are like cancer in video games. Now, we're not talking the internet kind of, oh my god, you guys are cancer. We're talking a quite literal cancer here. It starts out small and manageable before spreading out and choking off the rest of the game. And no series better encapsulates this than the Batman Arkham games. In Arkham Asylum, we're talking about the Riddler's puzzles. Teeth and trophies dotted about the small island were manageable enough and independent enough to provide a fun little distraction without impacting on the plot or gameplay. Do you want to shoot for 100% or do you just want to fuck around as Batman? It's your call, because you're Batman and you can do whatever the fuck you want. Flash forward 6 years and suddenly in Arkham Knight the trophies are fucking everywhere and integral to the special actual ending of the game.
It was the biggest bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's a bullshit.
Yes, that's right. If you want to actually, complete the game you paid for, you have to waste hours finding the little bastards all over Gotham. Do you know how many there are in Arkham Knight, Jamie?
God, this is like...
No, 243.
You didn't even let me...
Well, did you know?
No.
Oh, well, there we go. Yes, 243, all spread out over a much larger area than in the first game. All a pain in the ass to find, and all acting as a shitty gatekeeper to the real ending. So yes, why have we not finished Arkham Knight? Because as far as I'm concerned, I finished the game, and I don't need to do this other shit. I just went onto YouTube and I saw the real ending.
Exactly, that's where the real ending lives. Well, Chris, at least with Batman, you know where all the trophies are on a second playthrough. However, roguelike games that procedurally generate areas have that annoying habit of surprising you with dick moves when you least expect it. For a true experience, Chris, look no further than Darkest Dungeon.
I like it.
Vampire accent is optional. You are the sole inheritor of an estate whose previous owner decided it would be cool to fuck around with an alternate dimension portal.
Never a good idea, just don't do it.
I played Portal and I played Portal 2.
Yeah, what more do you need?
This portal, located in the basement of the estate, is spewing all kinds of nasties, and now you must guide a group of adventurers to deal with the threat once and for all. These heroes have different abilities, from archer to mage to Stabby McGee here, but they all share a susceptibility to stress.
Stress is a killer, man.
Susceptibility, it's my word of the day. Did you like it?
Yeah, nice.
The more stressed out they get, the less effective they become, and the higher the chance they'll get fucked over in combat. If they die, they're permanently dead, which means you're screwed and probably have to start from scratch.
Which is never a good thing.
No. As with all roguelikes then, it's as much luck as skill. Having a party that is leveled nicely and works well as a group is all well and good, but a Lovecraftian monster could spawn in the next room just for the fun of it and completely ruin a character.
Never mind the character, your whole fucking entourage.
It all crumbles from the base. Back to square one, and this time with a fresh bunch of idiots. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this game. The art style, the music, the gameplay, this is an example of a Kickstarter and early access game done right. Yet, I can completely see why someone may not have finished this game. I mean, I've tried 20 times to get a perfect run, and that's 20 times a roguelike mechanic has fucked me over and made me throw the controller across the room. And then the controller breaks, and my mum shouts at me.
You know what, Jamie? War does not have a funny bone. Sure, we may act out our Rambo-like fantasies in the digital world, but we all know that most of us would shit ourselves if forced into that sort of situation.
I don't know, I'm pretty tough. Kicked a tire once.
For some people, though, they don't have to imagine it. They lived through it, and this war of mine aims to replicate that experience. The game is inspired in part by the siege of Sarajevo in the early to mid-90s, and is relentlessly brutal in its depiction of the effects of war. In particular, the game looks at the civilians caught in the crossfire. So no soldiers here, Jamie, just those poor SOBs stuck in the middle.
Bet they couldn't kick tire, though.
Well, you say that, but they've got to do whatever they can to survive, right? Even if it means that they must kill. Now remember, they're not soldiers.
Wow.
So that's a rough decision. Alright, so, why couldn't I finish this game, Jamie? Because it's uncompromisingly depressing, that's why. It's pretty much like The Sims, but with the difference that your little avatars aren't superheroes or famous or rich or fly to the moon, whatever. They're just ordinary people caught in a situation where basic human decency is an actual weakness. They can't fight back against those stronger, so they're forced to prey on the weak to survive. You may last a few days, maybe a week, by sticking to your principles and being noble. However, I can almost guarantee that there will be a point when all the shops and abandoned houses near you are empty, when you're forced to choose between a group who are, say, elderly or sick, and your group, your version of The Sims.
Jesus.
In the Little Ones DLC, children are added to your party who must constantly be looked after. Do you spend time looking after the children as you know you must? Or do you focus on the greater good? Maybe let that like straggly little kid die, just so that the strong dude in your group can live another day? Maybe.
This is harrowing.
It's fucking rough, man. So I mean, to recap, Jamie, I can't complete this game, not because it's too hard, but just because it's too heartbreaking.
Look out for fucking This War of Mine 2, The Holocaust. Chris, when I'm sad, I just watch Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if Pokemon has taught me anything, it's that evolution is awesome. Running around, fighting, getting stronger, and growing into a more roided up version of yourself. Yeah, feels good. Only, often that's not how it works. Evolution is a process that can take millennia to enact, changing the species, and when playing Spore, you felt every single second of that time.
Oh, Jamie, I thought you were going to go for like a Pokemon entry here, but you
I'm sorry.
pulled the rug from under me, and it's a Spore entry.
Started talking about The Sims, and I couldn't get Maxis out of my head, and now here I am talking about Spore. That's right, that ambitious game from Maxis, EA, and Deity Willwright attempted to emulate evolutionary development from the microscopic level up to space exploration.
Boom.
That's a big jump.
I like it.
Designing your own creatures and guiding them through time and space sounds amazing, but in practice it was an excruciatingly slow and dull experience that was hamstrung by its own ambition. The first section was actually kind of interesting because it was a pretty clear lesson in biology. Your choices were also very clear. Play as a carnivore and prey on those smaller than you while avoiding those larger than you, or you could play as a herbivore, get eaten immediately, and restart as a carnivore.
That carnivore sounds like a Gario, though.
It's a bit of Gario-like. As you got stronger, you could add limbs and digits, defense mechanisms, and charm features. And of course, you would occasionally encounter a race of alien penises.
Occasionally.
Yeah, it was all very interesting, but then came the moment when you walked into dry land, and much like real life, that's where everything kind of went south, and pretty quickly. Evolving your creature began a joyless slog of either eliminating your enemies or allying with them to take down the bigger dickheads. Now, perhaps I'm not doing the game justice, although I wouldn't know because after 3 or 4 hours of running away from massive creatures and bullying the locals, I realized something. I wasn't having fun, and at that point, I just kind of gave up because those gameplay mechanics just kind of bored me.
Have you heard that they're making a sequel?
No?
It's called Spunk.
Spunk, coming onto shelves soon.
Okay, now Bethesda have a reputation for a number of things. Buggy releases are one, terrifying blanked-eyed automatons are another. But they also gave the gaming world the Radiant AI, which has made Skyrim almost impossible to complete, Jamie. The premise is quite simple. AI, and as a consequence, the quests given, are more personal and unpredictable than previous Elder Scrolls entries. This means that new quests are granted indefinitely, usually by a blank-eyed, staring, waxy-skinned freak of nature, but yeah, you get them anyway.
Like Jonesy.
Yeah, pretty much like Jonesy. Kind of understand why he got kidnapped.
He's got a face for kidnapping.
Yes. So you'll be sent adventuring off for hours to explore Skyrim. Add into this mix the fun of unexpected dragon attacks, bandit camps, the Civil War, mines, mages, and you basically have a game that you can never legitimately 100% finish. So you could be running from Whiterun to High Hrothgar to attain your godly powers when a dragon swoops down to attack. So in an effort to kill it, your health goes down faster than your mom.
Okay, wow.
And you're forced to seek healing at a local inn. Once there, you're asked to clear a mine of bandits because they keep on menacing the locals, which of course you do because you don't like quests cluttering your menu. I mean, you get what I'm saying there. It's a never-ending cycle.
Vicious cycle, if anything.
I haven't even properly completed the story because it's just got on so many side quests.
Well, Chris, so Skyrim is potentially at least impossible to fully complete because there's always one more person to give you something to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point of it.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is impossible to finish because it's awful and broken and dodgy and rushed. It's a lot of things.
Oh, Tony Hawk, what are you doing?
I mean, we don't have to look back that long, Chris, to see when Tony Hawk's was in its fucking prime. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 was incredible and widely beloved. Skater culture was making a comeback, buoyed by Jackass and OPM, and Activision was there to cash in by buying the rights to the Tony Hawk series in 2002 for the next 13 years. That number's important, so remember that.
Okay, Chris will remember that.
You could almost hear, Chris, Tony Hawk's brain thoughts echoing to this day. Surely the bubble will never burst.
You gotta say it in the Tony Hawk way.
Surely there's No, that sounds like a surfer. Well, Chris, sure enough, 6 Fast and Furious films later, and no one seems to give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
Skating still had its fans, but the Tony Hawk series appeared to be getting progressively less popular with spin-offs and ports up the butt pipe to milk it for everything it's worth. So, imagine the hype when a new Pro Skater was announced. 13 years after the last one, it was going to hit that nostalgia spot, and everyone was going to be happy.
Man, 13 years.
Yeah, we were all giddy. Except, it was bullshit. poorly optimized, riddled with bugs, awash with completely incomprehensible design choices. It was indicative of a shitty move on the part of Activision, who wanted to rush through an inferior product before their license ran out to cash in on the nostalgia crowd.
Hold on,
That's scummy.
So you're saying it's like every other modern game? Buggy, unplayable.
Yeah, but this was even scummier somehow. Because they literally said, oh shit, we've only got like 6 months before we can make money off Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Let's make a new one in 3 months.
Let's fucking do it.
Call it Pro Skater 5, and then let's release it as this fucking unfinished, borderline unplayable thing. I mean, Chris, the game required a 7.7 gigabyte patch on day one. That was bigger than the entire game.
So they released a demo, essentially, and then made you download the full content.
They released a fucking hollow skeleton of a Tony Hawk's game, and then fucking patched in the rest of the fucking piece of shit.
You are so angry right now. So what went wrong?
Activision went wrong. They've denied fucking all of this, but that hasn't detracted from a game that is inexcusably broken to begin with. If you did finish it, then fucking hell, leave a fucking comment and I'm gonna reply myself. I'm gonna send you something because you're a saint. And don't lie about it. Don't lie.
So that was our list of the 6 games that we weren't necessarily able to see through to the end. Did you actually beat any of the ones on our list? Let us know in the comments down below.
And while you're there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell and check that notifications are enabled to never miss another video game rant/video, any of this shit. You're on top of it. You're in the cool kids club.
Yeah, and from games we can't finish to games we want finished. Click here for 6 unresolved gaming cliffhangers, and you know what? We'll see you next time.
Bye. #pray for Jonesy.